It looks like WWE may have something in store for the modern day maharaja. Jinder Mahal is back on Raw, and we're going to speak about it in just a second, so stay tuned. This is your Raw review. What's up, Maniacs? My name is Mex. I'm a wrestling fan, wrestling enthusiast, a WrestleManiac, if you will. And today we are talking about Monday Night Raw. It was the go-home show to WrestleMania Backlash that is happening this weekend. Raw has not been great since WrestleMania. This is not a secret. We all know it. However, this show was better. There was more in the way of action, kind of some steps towards the pay-per-view happening, and maybe some steps past the pay-per-view, which we'll talk about in just a second. Before we get onto today's show, in case you didn't know, right here at WrestleManiac UK, I discuss everything that's WWE and AEW. So if this sounds like the place for you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into the Raw review. The show opened up with the previously advertised six-woman tag match. We had Charlotte teaming with the tag team champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler going against Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, and Asuka. Now, not really sure what the point of this match was, seen as later on in the night, we actually had a match that kind of pushed the narrative more towards women's title match this weekend. So not really sure why they needed this at all, but it was a refreshing start to the show to not see, a long promo before the show gets going. Straight in with some action, straight in with Charlotte Flair making her appearance, and this match started. And it wasn't before too long within the match, when we had all six competitors in the ring facing off at each other, we just hear some laughing in the background, and they turn the camera to the entranceway, and we see Alexa Bliss sitting there in Alexa's playground alongside Lily, her little doll, her little puppet thing, just laughing. Alexa Bliss says something similar to, we've seen someone that we have an interest in within the ring. Everyone's kind of looking at themselves who's the interesting person here. We're not really made aware at this point. And the women's match continues whilst Alexa Bliss and Lily are at the entranceway. And we see some cutbacks here and there to Alexa talking to Lily, stuff like that. Within the match, I guess the only kind of somewhat supernatural thing, if you did pick it up, some people missed this, but Shayna Baszler was going to make a tag. Shayna Baszler's leg either buckled or it was like she couldn't take her foot off the mat, like she was stuck to the mat. And it sounds kind of stupid, but there was a bit of hesitation at one point when Shayna Baszler went to make a tag. And I guess we can only kind of assume maybe this is who Alexa Bliss has their eye on, Shayna Baszler. But moving on, the tag was made, the match kind of progressed. Charlotte Flair got the win for her team. And then we saw as Charlotte Flair and her team were leaving the ring, Alexa Bliss and Lily, well, Lily's was obviously piped in noise, but we're just laughing at the top of the ramp as everyone was leaving the ringside area, kind of looking at each other, thinking who's the chosen person here. So yeah, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler get the win here. Alexa Bliss has kind of come out from the backstage area to the forefront and I guess they're getting closer to nailing down who is this person that they are going to target. An okay match, nothing special, different way to start the show. Kind of refreshing, to be completely honest. But yeah, it was that was it. Alexa Bliss is kind of laying her target on who is next. Talking about next, we had the return of the modern day Maharaja, Jinder Mahal. He is back. He cut a promo in gorilla position before he came out to the ring, introducing his new heavies, if you like. No more cruiserweight Bollywood boys following him around. Instead, we have Veer and we have Shanky. Veer was part of a tag team called In the Shur in NXT, and I don't know what's happened to the other guy. But yeah, only Veer is still here. And Shanky, I think we saw him in the Superstar Spectacle, that kind of house show they put on a couple of months ago for India, some type of Independence Day, I think it was. I won't lie, Shanky's performance on that day was a lot to be desired of. He's probably still a very young superstar, learning the ropes and that, but there was nothing impressive of him. But yeah, Jinder Mahal introduced these two as these two guys, and Jinder Mahal said he's going to come out and explain to everyone why he was a former WWE champion. Makes his return. Jeff Hardy, former WWE champion, Intercontinental champion, tag team champion. Jeff's done it all. He's come out and he's going to be the person to face Jinder Mahal. This match didn't last long. It was really just to put Jinder Mahal over. Jinder Mahal obviously still looks incredible. Jeff Hardy went to give him a twist of fate during the match, and then we saw Jinder Mahal actually reverse this and apply the Kalas and then pin Jeff Hardy. So for Jeff Hardy fans, you know, unfortunate to see him kind of be used in this way. Jinder kind of made a return on main event. I think it was last week. I think it may have been against Jeff Hardy as well. So yeah, he's got Jeff Hardy's number, that's for sure. I guess the bigger question here with Jinder getting the win, what is the plan for Jinder Mahal? Now, I think they want to kind of use him as another competitor within the main event, within the WWE Championship picture. I do not think he's going to win this championship again for a second time, which might be music to some of your ears. I didn't mind it the first time, I won't even lie, but I don't think that's the case the second time. I think he is just going to be used as someone that can go in, looks credible as a champion, and can, you know, have decent matches. Bobby Lashley can defend against him maybe. I think they're thinking about putting him up against Drew McIntyre. Obviously, he's got a storied history with Drew McIntyre from their 3MB days. So this could be someone Drew McIntyre spins off into having a feud with post this WrestleMania Backlash stuff that's going to happen over the weekend. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But Jinder Mahal is back. Modern day Maharaja and all them things there. Next up on the show, we had another multiple tag match, if you like. It was the New Day and RK Bro versus AJ Styles, Omos, Elias, and Jackson Ryker. Before the match backstage, we saw Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and Riddle kind of poking some fun at Randy Orton for getting the tomatoes thrown at him last week and all of that kind of stuff. Randy Orton then came into the picture and said that, you know, you guys think that's funny. What I find funny is kicking guys' heads in, retiring legends and being legend killer and RKOing people and all this kind of sick, twisted kind of stuff. He soon left them. Riddle made one more pun sort of thing. And then we kind of got into the match in the ring. This was a pretty good match. Riddle started it, kind of took it to Elias, took it to Jackson Ryker, and then eventually Omos was tagged in and Omos kind of cleared ring, took back the authority of the entire match. Kofi and Xavier Woods did try to help, but couldn't really do much against Omos, like obviously we've seen in recent weeks. Decent enough match, really and truly. I just think, you know, these are some of the credible tag teams now within this division. You know, Viking Raiders, they came back and they've gone a bit ghost. We saw a promo package for Lucha House Party during the broadcast, but they've got a bit of a tag division now. Let's start doing something with it. Let's have some number one contenders matches. Let's have some title matches. Let's get this tag team division, you know, popping. I say that, I know they don't care deep down, but yeah, you know, we've got something here. To conclude with this match, we saw AJ Styles and Omos already kind of taken out or on the outside, or Omos was attending to AJ Styles, who was on the outside, and Randy Orton applied a RKO to Elias, I think it was, and pinned Elias. Now in the ring, we saw Riddle celebrating, we saw the New Day celebrating. They were celebrating with Randy Orton, kind of, you know, high fives and all that kind of stuff. Randy Orton, not friends with anyone, as he kind of said. RKO to Xavier Woods, RKO to Kofi Kingston. Riddle completely shocked. When Randy Orton stands up, Riddle's like, we can't make any friends if you keep doing this to people, which was a pretty good line. Randy Orton just left the ring unfazed completely. Riddle went to check on his friends, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. This is obviously going to drive a wedge between, you know, their relationship, which I guess this is what they're getting to, as well as, you know, Randy Orton kind of staying on the fence. He's not a face. He's not a heel. He is just going to be on the fence, do what he needs to do to get by.
3 wins for RK Bro right now, which is, I guess, impressive for them in consecutive weeks. But definitely he is going to turn on, Riddle at some stage. There is definitely an RKO in the future for for Riddle. So yeah, this is a nice little story they're telling. Nothing major, but ticking along nicely, if you like. Next up on the show, we had Sheamus versus Umberto Carrillo. Sheamus cut a promo before the match, if I'm correct, saying that, why would he do an open challenge for the United States Championship every week, like has-beens before him, like Adam Pearce suggested. But Umberto Carrillo obviously wants his shot, and I don't think this was a US Championship match. It was just a match coming from, all the past weeks attacks that Carrillo has been having on Sheamus and vice versa. So Umberto Carrillo came out and a good match got underway. Obviously different styles. Sheamus being very heavy-handed, heavy-hitting, while Carrillo is the high flyer. We saw like a Hurricane Runner from the top rope, which was pretty impressive by Carrillo. Alabama Slam as well by Sheamus to Carrillo, but still just, 2 counts or anything like that. I think this match was, progressing along really nicely. Unfortunately, we saw a spot where Carrillo went to give Sheamus a sunset flip to the outside. Sheamus, obviously being the bigger, heavier man, he landed on Carrillo's leg, and Carrillo was deemed, unavailable. He could not continue the match. Referee had to throw the match out, declared Sheamus the winner. So it's a shame. Obviously, Carrillo was just kind of getting back on TV in recent weeks. Now he looks like he's picked up an injury. We don't know the extent of the injury. We hope it's nothing too bad at this point. But yeah, didn't kind of whatever they were trying to build for the US Championship picture, it's kind of just gone up in smoke. Especially if Carrillo is going to be injured for quite a while. Right, we had the match off between Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Before we get onto that, guys, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button. Does loads for the channel. I thoroughly appreciate it every time you guys do. Let this video be seen by more wrestling fans just like you and me. So if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up match and let's jump back into it. Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin. Obviously, last week, Cedric Alexander called out Shelton Benjamin after their loss, saying that, you're a has-been. I don't want to carry you anymore. You're done. Shelton Benjamin replied and showed him he knows how to survive and get through, unlike many other young superstars that I guess he's kind of classing Cedric Alexander as one of them. So these two met former tag team champions going up against each other to settle their differences. We saw in this match really impressive work by Cedric Alexander. Really kind of bringing it to him, that fire, that heat, that fierceness he's really shown since his whole Hurt Business run. He's bringing it here, shouting and kind of being overly aggressive. We saw him evade 2 pay dirts from Shelton Benjamin, and even at that point I thought, okay, this is a pretty good story. So how is Shelton Benjamin now going to put away Cedric Alexander? The fact that he's avoided his finisher on 2 occasions. At one point, Cedric Alexander really had the beating of Shelton Benjamin. Should have pinned him after a couple kicks to the head, drop kicks and stuff like that. He was screaming at Benjamin, saying that he was better than him and stuff. And all of a sudden, Shelton Benjamin popped up, gave him a T-bone suplex, and pinned Cedric Alexander. So Shelton Benjamin showing exactly what he said last week. He knows how to survive. He knows how to kind of eat dirt and kind of still kind of come out on top. I guess this match could have been longer because it was such a good match in the little time we got, but there'll probably still be another match or another couple matches in this series where they've still got a bit of a story to tell. And Cedric Alexander obviously left shocked that he lost this match from the position that he was in. But yeah, really, really fun stuff from these guys. Not really still sure why they split them up in the first place, because I guess after this feud is done, I can't see a future for either of these guys regularly, consistently on TV. But good match for what it was, and I think we're probably going to get a rematch of some sort. Maybe on Backlash pre-show. They haven't announced anything yet, but maybe. Next up on the show, we saw Charlotte Flair earlier on in the night have some backstage words with assistant GM, if you like, Sonya Deville. She had clearly put together this match that we're going to get next, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Obviously, she wants these two to tear each other apart before they get to the pay-per-view on the weekend, so that Charlotte is in the optimum condition to go against two women that have just had a fight. Asuka, this was her pulling double duty on the night because Asuka had the match obviously in the first segment. So this is the match that builds towards the pay-per-view and not really the first match on the night of the tag match. But hey, Rhea Ripley didn't want to have this match. Asuka said that she's ready for Rhea Ripley. She's not backing down. It'll be her second match on the night. Rhea Ripley said, "All right then, cool, let's go, let's do it." And these women had a great match. These are really two good performers within this division. Again, we wish they treat this division with more respect. But they did all right on the night, in my opinion, in terms of really making this match feel important. We saw Charlotte come out halfway through and then she joined the commentary team, putting over the fact that, yes, she organized this match. She wants to see it. But she said that she wanted to kind of see these two great performers go at it, sort of thing. However, obviously, she put this match together so they can rip each other apart. And that's exactly what they did. This was back and forth. There was a slip halfway through the match, like a little tiny botch, but I don't like pulling people up on botches. No one's perfect. And they continued fighting. Even at one point, like Charlotte was going to get involved and Rhea Ripley was on the outside. Nothing happened. Got back into the ring and Rhea Ripley put away Asuka with the Riptide. So Rhea Ripley, women's champion, looking strong, get a clean win. No involvement there, which I think is really good for Rhea Ripley. Charlotte Flair, sarcastically congratulating her, clapping her hands on the outside. So yeah, building nicely towards this triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash. Charlotte versus Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Another match that we were told we were going to get at WrestleMania Backlash was Damian Priest versus Miz. On the night, we're going to get John Morrison versus Damian Priest, and this match is to decide who gets to pick the stipulation of Priest versus Miz at the pay-per-view. If John Morrison wins, he picks the Miz picks the stipulation. If Damian Priest wins, he will pick the stipulation of the match. Really fun match. Really fun match. I watched this match and I'm thinking Damian Priest is brilliant, and I need to watch his Chronicle as well on the network. I've heard great things about it. John Morrison, this guy is so good. Like I wasn't really watching WWE when he had his first initial run and stuff like that. Obviously I've got to know John Morrison more from I actually watched John Morrison when he was on, was it Tough Enough or whatever it was, before he got to WWE officially. Didn't see much of his actual WWE first run. Got to know more about him on the indies and stuff like that. And then once he came back to WWE, you've seen glimpses of his greatness. Even in this match, like John Morrison is a phenomenal wrestler. But right now they got him just doing this joke thing. And, I think we can see dissent happening between him and Miz. They're going to split those two. And Miz is probably going to be the heel in the whole situation. Morrison will go on to be the face. And I'm hoping after that, Morrison goes on to have a little singles run in some way, shape, or form, because he is just so good. He is really good. I'm impressed. I know you guys have probably been seeing this guy for years and thinking, yeah, he's so good. But because, like I say, I hadn't seen much of him before. Now, really, I'm catching up. I'm catching up on John Morrison. Really good. Unfortunately, despite being how good he was, Miz again costed him from getting a win. At one point, he had Priest pinned, but Miz was speaking to the referee and all this kind of stuff. And eventually, we saw Damian Priest pop up and hit John Morrison with the hit the lights and pinned John Morrison. We saw Miz tried to lay an attack on Damian Priest after the match, didn't really come to fruition. Damian Priest hit Morrison with another hit the lights. And then later on, we saw Priest go backstage and he said to Adam Pearce, "Give me a lumberjack match. Miz loves running away. If you give me a lumberjack match, he can't run nowhere." because the superstars from Raw, SmackDown, wherever, they will hold him, put him back in the ring. So that has been granted, and Priest versus Miz at WrestleMania Backlash is going to be a lumberjack match. Moving on to the main event, the match that they had been selling throughout the show, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre. Earlier on in the night, we saw MVP go to Braun Strowman backstage like he did to Drew McIntyre some weeks ago. He went backstage and said, look, Bobby Lashley would rather lose the title to just you. He would rather it just be Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman. And basically instructed him, it might be in your benefit to take out Drew McIntyre before the pay-per-view. You know, Braun Strowman looked like he was pondering the proposition given to him. We got to the match anyway. Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. We've seen this match umpteen times since the beginning of this year. Still, these men are putting out a brilliant match, a really good performance. Just the sheer physicality that they put into their matches, always going to be interesting to watch. We saw coming towards the ending now, again, just like at WrestleMania, when we thought we're going to have a Claymore coming, MVP shouts out to Bobby Lashley, Bobby, and he evades it and all of this kind of stuff. And just as it looked like we'll get into a finish, Braun Strowman comes out. So Braun Strowman comes out and he does a running power slam to Drew McIntyre. Goes to help up Bobby Lashley as if he's taken up MVP's word of, getting rid of Drew McIntyre, this, that, and the other. Power slam to Bobby Lashley. Picks up Drew McIntyre again. Power slam to Drew McIntyre. Bobby Lashley at this point rolled out the ring. He picks up Bobby Lashley and he gives Bobby Lashley a running power slam through the barricade. At this point, he goes back into the ring. I'm not sure if there was one more running power slam to Drew McIntyre. I can't remember. But, he had made a statement. Bobby Lashley nor Drew McIntyre, he is not on anybody's side. Braun Strowman is here to be dominant and here to challenge and win the WWE Championship himself. He is not in cahoots. He is not embedded with anybody. And I thought this was, you knew that probably Braun Strowman gets involved in the finish of this match. However, the execution of it, I think, was decent. It was absolutely fine. They've built up all of these guys that, okay, any one of these guys could win in theory. We are probably looking at on Sunday, Bobby Lashley pinning Drew McIntyre. Sorry, pinning Braun Strowman. So Braun Strowman stands tall tonight on Raw, but at the pay-per-view, he's probably the one that's going to get pinned by Bobby Lashley to retain. Drew wasn't even pinned tonight on the night. Bobby Lashley pinned Braun Strowman last week as well. So yeah, it is what it is. But I thought that, coming from how they've botched Raw several weeks since WrestleMania, this particular angle was kind of well handled in this match, in this segment, and the entire show, like I say, builds towards the pay-per-view just a tad more, with this pay-per-view being on Sunday. SmackDown will do their bit on Friday, and yeah, it is what it is. Pay-per-views have been a lot better than TV has been in especially in Raw's case in the last year. So I'm hoping that we do get a banger of a pay-per-view on the weekend. But guys, that is the Raw review. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, Raw was better than it has been in previous weeks. Not saying much, to be completely honest, but it was better. Let's not be completely negative. It was good. Who do you think is going to walk out as the WWE champion? Put it down below in the comments. I mean, I'm pretty confident it's still going to be Bobby Lashley, but I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know as well who you think is going to walk out as the Raw Women's Champion. That might be a bit more interesting because, once Charlotte Flair is involved in a championship match, it could go. It could go. So is Rhea Ripley going to retain, or is Charlotte going to win, or is Asuka going to win? And let me know down below what you think are the plans for Jinder Mahal. We saw the return of the modern day Maharaja. Is he coming to face the winner of the WWE Championship after WrestleMania Backlash, or is it going to be something they're going to set up between him and Drew? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button, and make sure if you're new to the channel, you subscribe to the channel and you hit the notification bell so you get notified each and every time I drop a new video. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.